back to the Daily Grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back pickle biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Khabib Nurmagomedov is coming out ahead of his UFC 219 fight versus Edson Barboza or Tony Ferguson, as we found out recently, which I'll talk about in this video as well. But Khabib's coming out and he's saying that Conor McGregor needs to be humbled after his Bellator fiasco when he jumped the cage. Everybody knows what's happened by now. Jumped the cage at a Bellator event, put his hands on a referee, blah, 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 chased the referee afterward, slapped some other guy. I mean, Conor McGregor was wilding out. But with that being said, Khabib Nurmagomedov is saying the UFC needs to humble this guy. I'm going to read what Khabib Nurmagomedov also said, because he talked about how the referee, you know, Conor was chasing a guy that he knew couldn't fight him back and some other stuff. You know, Khabib and Conor, people have been clamoring for that fight for a while. So, I mean, it's looking like Khabib would like to do the humbling himself. But one thing I'll say before I read what Khabib had to say is, he's saying that he's saying that Conor needs to be humbled for his, you know, wilding out. I'm sure there's just as many Conor fans that would say Khabib needs to be humbled for missing weight. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he needs to be moved up to 170, yeah? Maybe the UFC does need to do a little humbling around here. But we are not the judge of that. With that being said, let's listen to what Khabib had to say about Conor. He said, "My very good friend fought for a big organization in Europe, 125 pounds. When he won, I did the same shit. I come inside and I hold him because I'm very happy. I'm jumping on his cage. I come inside and a lot of people come inside. My friends, my teammates, because we're all happy. But when the referee tells me, hey, you guys have to go out, I don't try to fight him because I know the referee's not a professional fighter. He's a referee. I have to respect rules. But I go crazy a little bit after and I understand, hey, this is not good. I've got to stop this. And I try to tell my friends and my teammates that we have to leave. Sometimes this happens and the organization disqualifies 30% of his money, but it's okay, it's okay. The organization has rules, and when we come to the organization, we have to follow these rules. We have to follow rules. So sometimes this happens, but I don't understand why he tried to fight with the referee. I don't understand it. So in that, Khabib's saying, I understand getting excited that your teammate won a big fight, but what the hell is he doing coming after a referee that's not a fighter? So Khabib continued and said, one time if you try with him, it's okay. But if you see this guy doesn't want to fight with you and he cannot fight with you, why would you try more and more? I don't understand this one. When you come inside the cage because you're happy about your friend's win, it's okay. But to try to fight with the referee, that's not good. And he continued to say, yes, it's okay, but not all of the time. He does this all of the time. In the Ultimate Fighter show, the Bellator show, I don't understand why he can do it, but other guys cannot do it. Because he's Conor McGregor, he cannot do this. The UFC has to make him humble a little bit because other guys say, oh, Conor do this, he can do this, but why not I? This is why sometimes you have to follow rules when you're a big name, because a lot of people are watching you. When you jump inside the ring, okay, but when you try to fight with the referee, this is not good. So, I mean, you get the point by now. Khabib is pretty much just saying, hey, Conor, I understand getting excited, jumping in, and even if you get pissed off with the referee, you know, I understand getting angry when the referee's telling you get the hell out of the ring. But whenever you see that the referee turns his back on you, the problem was when Conor chased the referee. Mark Goddard can't defend himself there. Mark Goddard's not a professional fighter, and this is actually a point that not a lot of people are talking about. So it's you know, I like that Khabib brought it up because I didn't really think about it from this angle, even though it's true. Like, yeah, well, you know, what is Mark Goddard gonna do? You know, after that first push, he couldn't have did anything, just a fucking sitting duck in there versus, I mean, you know what I'm saying. So Khabib's got a good point, but I mean, so it doesn't matter, you know what I'm saying. It's a good point, but at the same time, if you're the UFC, I understand why another fighter wants Conor McGregor humbled, why a lot of us are like, hey, we could, if I did it, you know what I'm saying, if that was me, or if that was you, or if that was somebody else, they would have got arrested. But the fact is that the UFC has not even I don't even think the UFC has still released a statement on this incident. Maybe because it was at Bellator, but you have to think that the Conor McGregor is making the UFC a lot of their money, and the UFC just bought the company for fucking $4 billion. We know they need to make money, so to punish Conor McGregor, it's got to come from somewhere else. You can't expect the UFC to make him humble. I mean, it happened at a Bellator event, and you can say at the Ultimate Fighter show he blew up, but that's what the Ultimate Fighter's supposed to be. I mean, Cody Garbrandt was, you know, getting held back at the. What are you saying? Of course, if they can get amped up and hyped up and held back, it is a problem that he put his hands on the referee. But at the same time, when you're talking about the punishment and who needs to do the punishment, that's a whole nother story. Should Conor McGregor be punished for what he did that day? Yes, but we don't know where the fuck that can come from. Is it going to come from the police of Dublin? Probably not. That's fucking Dublin, and it's Conor McGregor. Is it going to come from Bellator? Probably not. They're using that shit in commercials. Is it going to come from the UFC? Probably not. They need Conor McGregor to sell pay-per-views, so if they do something, it'll probably be like saying he's off of a card that he was never on. You know what I'm saying? So I get what Khabib's saying, and he is right. Conor McGregor should be punished, but the problem is we don't know who the fuck is responsible for that. Who's supposed to lay down the law on Conor McGregor, or is he above the law? He might be, because he sells so many goddamn pay-per-views, and he's coming off of a fight with Floyd Mayweather where he made $100 million fucking dollars, and he is the champ. So with all of that being said, man, it is what it is. Khabib's got it. Oh yeah, we want to talk about one other thing in this video. Khabib said that he accepted a fight with Tony Ferguson. On his Twitter, Khabib came out and said, at UFC, at Dana White, I've accepted the fight with Tony Ferguson, but I'm still training for Edson Barboza. So the UFC has offered Khabib and Tony Ferguson, it looks like, a fight for UFC 219. One thing about that is, what, are you expecting Tony Ferguson to defend the interim title? Hell no. There's no way Tony Ferguson's going to do that when you got the Conor McGregor fight dangling in front of him. So if this fight were to happen, it'd have to be for the official belt, which would mean Conor McGregor would have to either vacate or be stripped of his title, which, is the UFC going to do that? That wouldn't surprise me. And it would be due to inactivity or because of the Bellator or something. I mean, the UFC, they probably could or should punish Conor McGregor, you know what I'm saying, for putting their hands on a referee, just because their past precedents they've set with other fighters, Jason High and Big Country Roy Nelson. But the fact that it's at a Bellator event and the fact that he's their biggest cash cow, you know what I'm saying, GSP's back, but he's still not Conor McGregor to this point. They need Conor McGregor, so we don't know what's going to happen with that. This fight's not, and as far as this Tony Ferguson versus Khabib fight, it's probably not going to materialize. A lot would have to happen. But Khabib has also said, I mean, that if they, because people are like, how would that even be possible? I thought Khabib's fighting Edson. What the fuck is, what the fuck is Juice? But what they're saying is they would try and find Edson a replacement. So it would be a little bit of shenanigans if you put Tony Ferguson and Khabib. Everyone would love to see it, but then you would have to plug someone else into the Edson fight. So that would be a lot that has to happen in 30 days. I mean, that would be Tony Ferguson. I mean, he might have been training for Conor McGregor. He's probably staying in shape for December 30th. But then you'd also have to find another lightweight contender to fight Edson Barboza, or just scrap Edson, which would be messed up. Well, I mean, they could do that. I'm sure they did that before. Like, they would probably just give Edson his win money. That's what they did when Fabricio Verdum fought Walt Harris. Walt Harris was supposed to fight Mark Godbeer on that card, but instead Walt Harris moved up and they plugged him into the Fabricio fight and just paid Walt Harris his show money or his win money. Or I believe they paid him his show and win money. So that's how they just settled that. So they might just pay Edson Barboza and plug in Khabib versus Tony Ferguson, which would be fucking dope. It would be amazing. It would be a second title fight for UFC 219, one of the biggest, supposed to be one of the biggest events, end of the year events, and honestly, we need it. I mean, I do love the Holly Holm versus Chris Cyborg fight, but with Dominic Cruz falling off the card, Conor McGregor getting allegedly pulled off the card, Nate Diaz versus Tyron Woodley not happening, it would be dope to see Tony Ferguson on this card defending his title. The only way that happens is if Conor McGregor fights him, or if the UFC strips Conor in the next week or so to announce the fight, which might not happen. So I would say we're probably going to see Khabib versus Edson, but who knows? We could see Tony Ferguson. It would be dope. It is what it is, man. Let the full-time Philly know what the fuck you tell me in the comments, and enjoy your Thanksgivings. I'm out.
Da 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 da. It's the motherfucking D-O-double-G.